It's just a tough one because I've just bought another business for Glenmore, so we've just put it together, and I think maybe I'm just a bit of a hole.
When you say, sorry, for Glenmore being the hotel?
Yeah, up at Inverness. So I'd say, what's my brightest attraction? Well, I suppose it's probably my business. It's probably the Glenmore Limited business, where I've built something up into a highly profitable business.
And that's the hotel?
Yeah, that's a hotel in Inverness.
Yeah, okay.
So I'd say that specific business.
So when you say you bought another business, have you bought another hotel?
Yeah, next door. Yeah, okay. I bought it on Wednesday.
Oh, brilliant.
So when we're going up, you'll see that we've now I bought the neighbouring hotel and buildings next to us.
Wow.
So it's now 120 bedrooms and apartments up there.
Fantastic.
So I took that from about 30 bedrooms, and that's been built up. So I'd say it's a I think if it's, you do have proud moments.
Yeah.
But I think that if you had to reflect and say, well, what's it about? I'd say it's probably building that business up to the level it's at.
And do you set specific goals in that regard?
I have personal goals, which go into the business, go into businesses. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
For instance, I have a personal goal, which is to do one main bit of business a year.
Yeah.
That's usually acquisition or development.
Yeah.
So I try and do a major deal once a year now. That is my goal. Or development.
Do you plan for events occurring within business?
I think that we do plan. I think I try and look at all the individual businesses, management structures. We try and look at backup management if we've got enough resource in place.
Mm-hmm.
But that same could be in a kitchen. I employ over 300 people now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that can go wrong on a human resources side.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately in our business, the level of resourcing is poor. The skill base and the fund. So that you try to plan or you try to have something. It's quite casual. The other thing I plan for very heavily is cash flow. Cash flow is just a massive thing. So I look at cash flow for main businesses probably 2 or 3 times a week, even if it's good.
Okay.
And yeah.
So would you say that you, in the context of this study, we're now looking at a work environment, you are resilient?
We built up huge resilience, and the example I'll give is sort of the big crashing of 2007, 2008, the financial crisis, which put all our businesses pretty much to the wall, or close to the wall. So that would be your sort of crisis event, and the resilience created getting ourselves through that was pretty monumental. And then the lessons learned from that have been about cash flow management, protecting the businesses, looking at relationships with banks, all those type of things. I mean, it's crisis management for business, which you're very seldom exposed to. You have minor crises. You've always got a manager who wants to go. You've always got a business not performing well. You've always got a guest who's got, for instance, we had 3 insurance claims at the same time. Someone said they burnt their feet in the shower, another person had fallen over, staff accommodation. So you can have all sorts of crises in our business. In fact, our business is one long series of minor crises within the hospitality industry.
But those are sort of operational.
They like operational, Every now and again they can spiral outwards. But the biggest crises are overall business risk. Okay. And those are usually caused by unmanageable factors. Banking, climate, business partners blowing up.
Yeah. Okay. Within the context of that, I mean, you alluded to the crisis of the 2007-8. Can you tell me the experience of a major event or work program, that where you've had definitely experienced adversity?
Other than that, or that one specific?
If you wish to use that, that's fine.
Well, I'd use that as the example.
Yeah. So the adversity was in what? Like a cash flow in the business?
No, it was basically that the banks had panicked. Right. We were involved. We had fixed loan positions. Yeah. They changed the circumstances, our covenants that surrounded our business. Yeah. And basically, we're trying to get rid of us as a customer.
Okay. And put you into
administration. Yeah, if they could.
Yeah. Okay.
At the time, appointing administrators or third-party accountants to examine your business.
How did you get
borrowing
through
access to cash flow?
Yeah. How did you get through that? Did you trade through it, or did you
we traded through it.
Yeah.
Some of our assets, we disposed of one of our very poor assets. We had to beg, borrow, and steal cash. Mm-hmm. We had to manipulate suppliers.
Yep. We used to manipulate suppliers.
Well, related to cash flow, and payments and stuff. We had to trade credit terms wherever we could, but the problem was everyone was in the crap at the same time, so everyone was screaming. So suppliers didn't want exposure to large risk with customers.
Yeah. So what resources would you say that you used from a resilience point of view to get through that event? Because it was...
Personal resources, huge levels of mental strength. Yeah. Because it was pretty mentally debilitating.
And how did you create that mental strength? That's something you think was within you?
No, I think it's something I think it's within you. Yes, yeah. I do think it's within you, but I think it's very much like the marathon. Mm-hmm. You're exposed to it, and then you've got to kind of get through it. Mm-hmm. And you have to make that choice. Yep. Do you stay with it and get through it, or do you stop?
So you mentioned the marathon when you would set goals, like for example, the next mile, the next 10 minutes, the next whatever. Were you doing a similar circumstance?
Yeah, I think that's a good analogy. I mean, you were at a stage where your planning actually stopped being longer term. Yeah. And you had to go into a much shorter term focus. Yeah. And everything was about weeks, months, and you lost that whole year kind of thing. You did, yeah, absolutely. You condensed your planning and the way you behaved. You're much more in the moment.
And was this something that you actually sat down to evaluate in terms of this is what we're going to do, or was it the fact that you were just having to deal with it almost like on a firefighting basis?
You had to deal with it in firefighting, but at the same stage, because it just kept on going. It wasn't something that arrived and went away. Yep. It extended over a couple of years. Yep. So once you'd kind of got to that firefighting mode, you then had to kind of manage what you're doing. There's no point running around in circles all the time. You had to kind of organize yourself and kind of try to clear your thinking.
Okay. And when did you sort of start to see the wood from the trees? When did you think you sort of came out of that?
Well, I'd say it all started in 2008, 2007, and wood from the trees probably 2009. Okay. So it went on for about two and a half years.
And what was the sort of end point, exit point? What was the triggers to alleviate that pressure, as it were?
It was external. Yeah. Again, it was the banking climate changed. Yeah. The panic had been reduced. We had traded our way out of it in a lot of ways. We had got that cash flow in a position where it could cope no matter what. Yep. And we were super organized because after 2 years of being battered, there's not much people could do anymore. The crises were so deep.